Hi everyone, welcome to Step Into Yourself Tarot. My name is Savannah. I'm doing a candlelight reading. I was actually taking a bath and Spirit led me to do this form of reading. I've done it one other time, but it was very specific in terms of what the topic was going to be, so healing. And the only downloads I got is that healing is a journey, healing is a process. Sometimes we feel like we have went through that journey and that process and like we should be further along than what we are. And however, that journey is not linear. It's oftentimes like grief, right? We go through the different stages of grief. We may progress and then we go backwards, but it's not going backwards. That's not the right word to use. It's not a linear process. So we make strides in our healing journey, or I'm hearing like on our healing path. That doesn't mean that we don't backtrack. That doesn't mean that, we don't take 4 steps forward and then come 2 steps back. It's a process, and I'm hearing it's a never-ending process. And that may not be encouraging for some of us, right? Especially if you have been on this journey towards healing of the self, healing of situations, healing from life and from grief and from connections and from missed opportunities and from disappointments and from heartaches and from pain. There's a purpose. There's a purpose in our healing, I'm hearing. I was specifically called to do this by candlelight, so perhaps some of you may want to do some meditation by candlelight. Also, I think it's just a reminder to us that there is light on this journey. There is light on this path, and it surrounds us, and it encapsulates us. It surrounds us. It embraces us. I'm hearing light. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And in that light, you will come to a space where you blossom, where it's like you're a tiny bud. And every step of that journey, you bloom a little bit more, and 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 a little bit more, until you fully bloom. Okay, let's get into some cards. Spirit, Spirit, thank you. Thank you for this prompting. I kind of love this. There's a vulnerability in it. Like I said, I just got out of the bath. I was taking a kind of like a meditative bath. And so I'm being vulnerable with you. No makeup on, no glitz and glam. This is just the authentic me. There's something in that. The authentic you needs to come through. I'm hearing not caring what others think. What does collective need to know, Spirit? Spirit, thank you so much for those promptings. Thank you so much for being in this space and for your messages that are for the highest good of collective. What do you need to tell us about healing? What messages do you have for us in regards to our healing journeys, our healing processes? What messages do you have for collective? All right, that's a lot, Spirit. It's actually telling me, they're telling me not these two. Okay. Let's take the tear and the medallion. Yeah. The pain, the tears that we shed, reaching for the light, reaching for sight. I was going to say reaching for sight, the medallion, the tear. I don't think you're going to be able to see this, but we'll see. The medallion and the tear. Reaching out your hand for assistance, for support. Reaching out your hand for the light. But allowing the tears to fall. So often with healing, we need to be willing. So healing is a vulnerable process. We have to be willing to enter that journey. We have to be willing to enter that space. We have to willingly step onto that journey. There's so many that don't. There's so many that would rather walk blind and not see the light. And what does that do? That's just pent up anger and frustration and pain and sorrow and lack of wisdom, lack of insight, lack of connection. It's bitterness, it's sorrow, it's unhappiness. But being willing to step onto the healing path, it opens us up. It expands us like that flower that's blooming little by little by little. But it requires us to process the pain, the burdens, the disappointments. And we process that through a cleansing of our tears. We allow ourselves to feel the emotion of that pain or that grief or whatever that is for you. Most often, pain is built around unmet expectations. Whether that's grief and actual death of someone we love, we expected for them to be around longer. We expected to have more time. We expected that they were going to be there. Or a relationship, or a friendship, or that missed career opportunity, or that loss of a job. There's expectations that we've had, and we need to process the disappointment of those expectations not being met. And through that processing, we have to shed that weight from us, the emotional aspect of that disappointment, the tear. Because through that is wisdom, and through that is sight. And then we have to be able to reach out our hand and grasp for more. Like I was saying, grief or loss or disappointment can keep us stuck. It can keep us, I'm not going to come out of my shell. I'm gonna form walls around me. I'm gonna form a barricade around me because I want to protect myself. Spirit saying, no, reach out your hand, reach out for connection, reach out for more. Reach for the next light that exists for you. And then we have the riddle, the kiss, and the vision in reverse. The riddle, here's that encasement. Here's those walls that surround you. There's vision available to you. There's connection available to you. On the bottom of this card, there's two hands coming together in unity. But everything is so wound up, I'm hearing. Everything is so confusing. Everything is all mixed up. And I'm feeling tugged in multiple directions, and I don't know which way to go. This came up in the Aries reading today. If you have Aries in your chart, any placement in that reading, step out of your comfort zone came up, which I wish I would have mentioned. If Aries is your north node, south node is comfort zone. North node is doing basically the opposite. That's what we should respond with, those characteristics in times of conflict or struggle. But the riddle came out in that reading, and it's like this energy that it surrounds you and it keeps you held. And then look at the kiss and the vision in reverse. That connection, that physical touch, the hands grasping one another underneath the moon, the vision for the path forward, seeing things more clearly. It's in the reverse. So there's a need to shed the emotions, to continue on this healing process, and to reach out. Reach out for support, reach out for another, reach out for assistance from Spirit, from the divine, from from God, from Holy Spirit. Whatever it is that you find solace in. Reach out, because a medallion wants to be handed to you. A gift wants to be handed to you. But if we're so busy in keeping ourselves blocked off and surrounded in a bubble that nobody can penetrate, that even you can't penetrate, I'm hearing, then there's nowhere for this vision to go. There's nowhere for connection to go. There's nowhere for that physical touch that we're human beings. We desire that. We desire connection. We desire physical touch. There's nowhere for that to go. It can't occur if we're all encased. We have to be vulnerable. We have to allow ourselves to feel. And to be focused on the light in front of us. Okay. Thank you for those messages, Spirit. It's really powerful. Anything else for collective in terms of healing? Anything else for collective in terms of healing Any other messages in regards to healing? Anything else in regards to healing? Ooh. New beginnings at the bottom of the deck. Sovereignty, discernment. Yeah, two energies of strength and power and claiming energy and having discernment and standing in your power, standing in your understanding and your intuition, and then attraction and extremes. Avoiding extremes, avoiding black and white thinking, avoiding total passion or no passion, finding a middle ground. Maybe your vision is so one idea, one vision, and maybe there's the need to be discerning about that. To dig into the self and what am I really desiring? Is it so extreme that it's unattainable? Is it so boxed in that am I so boxed in that I am unattainable? Am I so bent on one particular path or vision that I'm not being very discerning and standing in my power, sovereignty, discernment? You wear the crown. Discernment, your mind has to expand, your ideas have to expand to see a broader vision. To see a broader path, to see the reason for things. To see why things have occurred, to see how A incident led to B incident, led to C incident. But we have to be vulnerable enough to enter that space. To enter that space of wanting to understand and of reaching out our hand for that wisdom to pull into ourselves on our journey. We're our own worst enemy sometimes. I have the numbers, let's see, 41. Oh my gosh, it's hard to see. 41, 10, 44, and 34. So I'll say those again. 41, 10, 44, and 34. Sovereignty, like, what is the correct path for your inner being, for your soul, for your personhood? I also see in this card, like, she's holding all these experiences in her hand and she's pulling them all into her. She's not rejecting them. She's not pushing them away, which is what our human tendency is to do. Anything that harms us or pains us, we want to push away and pretend it doesn't matter, or that it didn't exist, or that it didn't affect me. But she's pulling it all in. She's absorbing it. She's being vulnerable with it. And she's still standing in power. So many times in pain, we feel disempowered. We feel like it takes something from us. But she's pulling it in and she's standing in her power and she's saying, these are all things I claim. These are all these experiences that have made me me. These are all these experiences that have got me to this point. I'm hearing in my evolution. Because it is an evolution. But you need to discern the whys. So often we're unwilling to face ourselves in these experiences. And believe me, in any challenges, there's always, especially when we're dealing with other people, there's always two. There's our part. There's our things that we carry into these situations. And there's another's. And when it's battles within the self, there's always two perspectives. We can choose to see light or we can choose to remain in dark. There's always a choice, even when we feel like we don't have choice. How am I going to process this pain? How am I going to deal with this pain? How am I going to deal with this disappointment? What am I going to speak about this disappointment? Our words exhibit karma into the world. Karma is not necessarily negative. Karma is just simply a principle of what we put out comes back to us. So how are we processing the things that have happened in our lives? And what are we speaking about them? What are we putting out into the universe? And what are we calling to ourselves? There's a new beginning available to you through healing. New beginning. Stepping through a portal. And you are strong enough to do this, resilient. You have the resilience. You're literally holding the earth in your hand. It's intertwined in your fingers. It's not this energy where it's surrounding you and keeping you entrapped and I don't know which way to go. It's the energy of, no, I'm pulling on that. Because I have sovereignty, I have strength, I have power. I create my reality. And I do that by the path that I walk. How am I healing myself? How am I healing those around me? How am I being the light? Thank you for those messages, Spirit. What's supporting collective right now in terms of healing? What's supporting collective right now in terms of healing? Oh yeah, resilience. And then right underneath it, hunger. You hunger for, this came up in Aries too. You hunger to walk on this new path, to heal yourself, to heal your vision, to heal connection, to reach out your hand. You hunger for this. Perhaps it's been under your moon. Something you haven't wanted to face, something you haven't been vulnerable with, something that you haven't wanted to see. Perhaps you didn't want to see the light that existed. Remember I said we can see the light or we can see dark. Perhaps you wanted to see the dark and you didn't want to see the light. And then underneath it, the unexpected. Going down the unexpected path. Perhaps it was unexpected for you. Look and at the bottom of the deck, healing. You can heal. You can heal this path, this vision. Anything else? Divine feminine and soul family. Rely on that support. Remember I said reach out your hand for support. Rely on soul family. Family isn't always our blood. Family isn't always our blood relationships. It's those that support us the most in our life. Oftentimes, they're the least judgmental. Oftentimes, they're the ones that see us the most. Oftentimes, they're the ones that we're able to be the most vulnerable with. It's the connections in our life that they feed into us and we feed back into them. Divine feminine and soul family, the energy supporting you right now is the support that you have around you. And Spirit's saying, reach out for it. And dig into your heart space. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to feel the pain. Allow yourself to shed the tears. Anything else supporting collective right now in terms of healing? Anything else in terms of healing for collective? Anything else? Awakening. Yeah. Awakening. This is perhaps an awakening for you. An awakening to the self, I'm hearing. An awakening to truth. An awakening to understanding. An awakening to clarity. An awakening to vulnerability. An awakening to the heart space. An awakening to being able to speak. My throat chakra I'm feeling blockage. Oh, an awakening to be able to stand in your power. And an awakening to be able to walk the path that you desire for yourself. An awakening of, I don't know that this is a word, but I'm hearing it. Impendence. Like impending. Like there's urgency here. It's like now is the time. I can no longer remain in the dark. I have to go towards the light. I have to experience my pain. I have to experience and walk the path. I have to face it. I have to absorb it into me. I have to pull those experiences into me. I have to remove this encasing around me, this bubble, these walls, and I need to feel it. And I need to go where I'm being led towards my inner truth, my inner sovereignty. Perhaps it's unexpected even to you. We have the number 43 on this one. Acceptance. An acceptance of it. Acceptance of the unexpected. And look at, there's connection here. Perhaps this isn't a journey or a vision that you wanted. It's in the reverse. The vision and the kiss is in the reverse. But there's something in that. Perhaps there was light underneath the moon. You didn't want to see it. Oftentimes our vision gets clouded by our pain. Our pain can encapsulate us and surround us and prevent our steps. But Spirit says you're in an awakening. You're on the cusp of an awakening, and you need to listen to your inner voice. Listen to yourself. Listen to your intuition. Listen to the promptings of Spirit or of God or divine, whatever that may be for you. And then look at Soul Tree. There's an opportunity to create the tree, a soul tree of abundance. Soul family and soul tree. You can have a tree of life with many. There's abundance here. You have to go where your soul is calling you. And your soul is calling you to the light, towards awakening, and towards absorbing all of these experiences into yourself and into your path. You're not leaving them behind. You're not saying, oh, they're okay. It's okay that this happened to me. No, that's not what healing is. That's not what forgiveness is. It's saying, I've reconciled myself to what happened. I've learned from it. I've learned the lessons. And I'm carrying them with me towards my path, on my path, towards the light. Doesn't mean we carry them with us in resentment or bitterness. No, true healing is acceptance. And it's healing through and processing through. What was the purpose of this? There's always a purpose. To teach us something. It's like the tower in the tarot. The tower happens and it's always meant for our highest good. It's when illusions and delusions come down and we see things clearly, and it's always meant for our highest good because things are removed that shouldn't be there. So things that would be impediments to the path forward towards the light. But sometimes we are our impediment towards the path forward, towards the light. Is there anything else, Spirit? Anything else you want to say about healing? They're saying no. Okay, so let me get some advice for you, collective. Wow, this was unexpected. Advice for Spirit on this, or advice for Spirit. Advice from Spirit on this healing journey towards the light for collective. Advice from Spirit. Advice regarding healing for collective, Spirit. Advice regarding healing. She who instigates, leadership, provocation, power. Yes, stand in your power. Stand in your power. Provoke this journey. Provoke this vulnerability. Provoke within yourself discernment and sovereignty and walking towards the light, which is your new beginning. Provoke. And then she who surrenders at the bottom of the deck, surrender to the process. Chains, bondage, release. Through healing, we release. We're able to release. We're able to release the things that bind us. We're able to release the things that surround us, the walls of protection, the barriers on our path. She who flies, Valeris, dare, do, reach for the light, reach for the medallion. This also came up in Aries reading earlier. And then she who begins, launch, actualize, potential, begin the journey. Face it. Embrace it. Launch it. Begin. Very excellent. And then let me get a final spirit message for you. Can I get a final spirit message for collective spirit? The path. Literally the path forward. The path. Start the path towards your light. It only comes through healing. Any other spirit message for collective spirit? Look past what you feel are your incapabilities. Instead, focus on everything you have achieved so far. It is okay to acknowledge your weaknesses, but keep in mind that they don't define you. Your strength and your beautiful soul are clear for all to see. Yeah. It's not a sign of weakness to feel. It's not a sign of weakness to admit mistakes. On our journeys, we all make them. There's so many beautiful characteristics that you exhibit. They don't define you. If you find yourself stuck in a situation you are unhappy with, ask yourself why you are still there. Is it fear of the unknown? Leaving toxic situations or people can be the best thing you could do for your soul and your spirit. Be fierce. Yeah, be fierce. Start the journey. Start the journey. Remove yourself from what is holding you back. Whether that's a person, place, or thing. Remove yourself. Be true to yourself in all ways. Not everyone will get you. They can only understand from their level of perception. That's on them. No matter what people say, don't ever doubt your worth or the beauty you hold within. Stand tall in your power. Yeah, that's sovereignty. And then take some time to rest and rejuvenate. You need to pace yourself for the changes that are coming your way. They are all positive, bigger, and better. They are all positive. Bigger and better things are coming for you. Just rest and just relax and trust. All right, excellent. And then at the bottom of the deck here, self-love and surrender. Yeah, surrender to the darkness, to the unknown. Surrender the darkness. Surrender the negative thinking. Surrender. Know and love yourself enough to go on this journey towards light and towards that new beginning for yourself. That new beginning. All right, collective. This was very interesting. Oh, I feel like I need to breathe after that one. So much love and peace and light to all of you. Take care.